back to another episode of the Drunk Bond Podcast with your host, James St. John Smythe. I'll keep the same name even though I'm not doing a Bond movie today. That's right, we're doing Rocky V. The long-awaited. Let's finish those first 5 movies. We did 1, 2, 3, and 4 with my old co-host, Peter Frank. And now here I am doing Rocky V. You're welcome. You're welcome, America and the surrounding countries. And today I'm drinking a Pimm's Cup. You ever heard of a Pimm's Cup? I think it originated in New Orleans. It's like a type of liqueur, maybe with gin in it. Legend has it that it was like invented to kind of, it's kind of a low alcohol, like not as strong as your typical drink for the morning to kind of get you started. Kind of wean yourself back onto the hooch and then cultivate that drinking problem. And that's what a Pimm's Cup is. And I think it's Pimm's and ginger ale. And it's not a bad little drink. And that's all I got to say about that. And you're thinking, St. John Smythe, why are you taking it easy? Blow it out of the park for this podcast. Well, I got dinner with the wife tonight. And it's a martini dinner. And I'll probably have some champagne too. Why? Because the Atlanta Braves are your 2021 World Series champions. And I'm going to be doing a little celebrating for my team. I've been watching for a long time, 26 years. And, I'm treating myself as if I played in the game. So that's why I'm kind of taking it easy. But we're not here to talk about the Braves. Because I could fill 2, 3, 4, 5 hour podcast just based on my abnormal relationship with the Atlanta Braves. But we're not here to do that. We're here to talk about Rocky V. So, after the success of Rocky IV, which went gangbusters, much like Rocky III, much like Rocky II, much like Rocky I, as Marvin Berry in Back to the Future would say, let's do another one. But where do we go from here? That's a good idea. I'm glad you asked that. Because I don't really know where to go from here. And turns out neither did Sly. Oh, he's got jokes. And they decided to kind of go back to their roots, finish the franchise how it started. Kind of bring them back to the old neighborhood, get the old director, kind of the older vibe, and do that whole thing. Didn't work, but, that's what they went for. And yes, spoiler alert, I'm not a big fan of this movie. And I'll tell you why I'm not, as it goes on. Not a fan, sorry. The movie was made in 1990, directed by John Avildsen, the dude from Rocky 1. Original cast coming back, Burgess Meredith returning. New cast members Tommy Morrison as Tommy Gunn, Richard Gant as George Washington Duke, and Sage Stallone as Rocky Jr. Oh boy. So we start, much like every Rocky movie starts, with the Rocky Crawl, which I actually love. I love the music for this one. I love the way they do it with you can see Rocky through the crawl or whatever. I like it. So hey, so far so good, guys. Love Rocky V so far. And you just sworn Rocky just got his ass whipped for 14 rounds and then got a couple good shots on Drago and then won. Because that's kind of how the flashback went. And then we cut to present day and we get, kind of what we've been waiting for this whole time. Rocky's sweet naked ass. There's the first shot of our hero in the shower. And you just see his ass. His bare ass. And now I'm like, well, that's one in the pros corner. One in the cons. What else you got, Rocky V? And we got Tony. He's yapping in the other room about something about Apollo and the old people and young people. No, that's another Rocky movie. I'm sorry, but I don't know what he's talking about. But he's talking. That's all that matters. And he says, "You get Adrian." And Adrian comes in from the party. I'd love to be at that party, by the way. That's the kind of Russian party I need to be at. And Adrian looks like shit, by the way. I mean, she aged, by the time that fight was over, until they got to that party, she aged 15 years. She doesn't look good. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. I don't know what happened, but she doesn't look good. I forgive her, but she doesn't look good. Okay? And that's on her. I didn't do it. And Adrian comes in and Rocky's like, I don't feel so good. And he starts rambling about Mickey and his nonsense accent is back. And Adrian's like, shit, I had stupid Rocky for 2 movies. And then I had smart Rocky for 2 movies. And now I guess I'm getting moron Rocky again. He calls her Mickey. He just wants to go home. He can't stop his hands from shaking. So they go back to Philly. And the band is there playing the Rocky theme, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. I didn't like it in Rocky 3 when they played the Rocky theme. It's like breaking the fourth wall. It's like an Octopussy when VJ plays the Bond theme. I'm not sure how I feel about that. And if you're a Rocky fan, you don't know what I'm talking about, but That's what happens, and I don't think I like it. So, write that down. And his son comes running up. He's a lot older, but I won't really touch on that because it's been talked about to death, I'm sure, that his son is all of a sudden 6 years older, even though Rocky's only been gone, a couple months. And they start talking to each other. I made the honor roll. Whole team! I already hate him. And why is he even sitting in on this press conference? Like, why is the kid there? That's just an aside, but I don't know what he's doing there. I didn't ask him to be there. And they're asking these stupid questions. How did you feel about the Russian people? I hated them. I hated their guts. And George Washington Duke interrupts him to propose a fight with a new fighter, Union Kane. And when I first saw this, dude, I could not wait until Rocky just whipped that dude's ass. Balboa, I want the opportunity to take what you got. But of course we never get that. And Adrian interrupts and says her husband's retired and he's got nothing more to prove. Rocky starts rambling about I don't know what. It's nonsensical. And he doesn't comment on whether he's going to retire or not. Paulie, by the way, has his binoculars at this press conference and has liquor in it. He gets off the plane, I'm assuming he's been drinking, but he fills up his binoculars with hooch. I mean, this isn't like the funny kind of addiction anymore, I think we have a problem here. Now we've kind of crossed that line. Because you know what I call an addict, like right before they get a problem? Fun. I mean, they're a barrel of monkeys. They're always down. They always want to go out and do something. They'll never go home. They're fun. And then like the next day, it's like, oh, okay, you got a couple issues, don't you? But it was fun while it lasted. Their problem now, not mine. So they leave the press conference and back to the house. Maybe I'll take you upstairs and violate you like a parking meter. And Rocky Jr.'s like, Uncle Paul, you notice something strange about Dad? Yeah, he's retarded. You didn't know that? There's always been something strange about your dad. He's not right. And we got to him in Rocky Jr.'s room before he's going to bed and his stupid, shitty paintings. And well, I'm just going to just hammer this kid the whole time. He didn't do anything to me. And he's dead now, which is just horrible. So I kind of feel bad just knocking Sage Stallone for being a bad actor and I don't like his character in here because he did die, which is really bad, but I'm just going to destroy this kid during this podcast. I'm sorry. He's got that drawing of Madame, what is her name? The French teacher? Shit. That's going to piss me off. Madame Foot's caught in the door? What is it? So I don't know what it is. He does that stupid French joke, finding shit in his ear. And Rocky's telling him that he sees his kid having all the stuff that he didn't get to have growing up. And he gets to enjoy it through him. Little does he know that in a couple of days, he's going to grow up just like he did, in a horrible way. And then he kisses him on the lips. I don't like that. It's weird. I don't know if any of y'all's parents kissed you on the lips growing up. It's kind of strange. I don't like it. And y'all need to stop it. Stopped it. Remember that Tom Brady, whatever that was? When Brady kissed like his little boy like 6 times and told him to kiss him back, and it just got really strange. Don't kiss any children on the lips. That's some of the rules I live by. Don't kiss children on the lips. You kiss them anywhere else. But goddamn it, don't kiss them on the lips. Madame Dupont. That's her name. Yeah, she seems French. With her triple F tits. So those things were like a caricature of breasts. Those are humongous. So, boy, that's a load off. I don't have to think about that anymore. So we cut to Adrian and Paulie yelling at each other, as they tend to do. And Rocky doesn't even notice at first because he's so used to it. And apparently, from what I gather, their accountant, Rocky's accountant, sent them a tax extension for Rocky to sign while they were in Russia. But it was actually like this blanket like power of attorney. So all their money is gone. And like Paulie gave them the document to sign. I mean, first of all, you can fight that. If someone gives you a document saying it's one thing, but it's actually another, it might be tough to fight it, but like you can fight that. I mean, it's your responsibility to read the thing, but you can fight that. Let's say you can't. I can't believe I'm saying this, but in Paulie's defense, Rocky's accountant gave Paulie a document and said, have Rocky sign this. And that's what he did. I mean, Paulie's not like the manager, thank God, or like a lawyer or a financial advisor. If someone gave me a document and said, hey, give this to your brother while he's out of town, it's a tax extension, I'm not going to start reading it. That's not mine to read. I'd hand it to my brother and say, hey, this is from your accountant or whatever. He wants you to sign this. I wouldn't be fucking with it. Think Paulie's going over these documents with a fine-tooth comb? No, man. He's just handing it over. He's the middleman. So it's just strange. But apparently, Rocky's money's just gone. And we cut to the lawyer's office. Where the fuck was he this whole time? And apparently the accountant was involved in like high-end commercial real estate. And the plan was to like flip the money while they were gone in Russia and return it before they knew about it. Make his profit and they'll be none the wiser. And the market dried up and they lost everything. How much did he put in this commercial real estate? How much money does Rocky have? Like $20 million, let's say? I have no idea, actually. And there's nothing left after like 3 months? You can't salvage anything from the buildings or the property that he bought? It was worth $20 million 3 months ago, and now it's worth $0. Did he invest in fucking railroad bonds, too? Confederate money? What the hell is he doing? And then he says, Rocky didn't pay his tax returns in 6 years. Well, you can't do that. I mean, someone's going to notify you. But I couldn't understand if he was saying the accountant didn't do it, but why would the accountant not pay your tax returns? I mean, what's in it for him for you not to pay your tax returns? So Rocky didn't pay his tax returns, and then the mortgage hasn't been paid in months, which, again, someone's going to notify you. Some sort of manager. I'm assuming Rocky has some sort of, not just that accountant, but a manager or somebody. Even that shitty accountant would say, hey, you need to pay your mortgage. I don't want to steal from you yet. So, like, yeah, you should probably pay your mortgage. And Adrian, that fucking moron, is like, we didn't have a mortgage. Our house was paid for. How the fuck do you not know whether your house is paid for or not? Oh, no, we don't have a mortgage. You don't know who owns your house? You don't have much of a body, so you better develop your brain. Nice one, Adrian. What the fuck do you even do around here? And apparently there's like $400,000 still outstanding on the house. And the only thing with no debt is Mickey's gym. So the house, the cars, all their assets haven't been paid off, except for the gym. Guess that proves that Mickey really was Jewish. Ha ha! So Paulie, and I can't believe I'm saying this again, making some sense. He's like, why don't you can sell some things? Yo, I ain't a commercial kind of guy. I'm a fighter that what I do for a living. You ain't a commercial kind of guy. Which is like the most asinine fucking thing he says the entire movie. Let's rewind the tape, folks. Rocky 3, I had to actually put the DVD in, make sure I had it all right. American Express, DeLorean, Nikon cameras, Harley Davidson, Maserati, Rolex, Gatorade, Wheaties, Budweiser, those merchandise shirts, candy bars, gym equipment, and dinnerware. I ain't a commercial kind of guy, I'm a fighter. What? And then that stupid lawyer says we couldn't get any sponsors with the investigation of the accountant. Out pops a criminal record of Rocky's for assault in connection with loan sharking. What? You didn't know this before? Who cares? It's assault. He's not Mike Tyson raping somebody who also has a show on Broadway now or whatever the hell he's doing. It's assault. What did you think he did for the first 20 years of his life? A guy with no money who's a boxer in Philadelphia. Yeah, it's his only skill. Like, what are the companies saying? Oh, no, we can't sign Rocky. His accountant's being investigated. Huh? No one gave a shit about his record in Rocky 3. No one ever cares about this shit. And this is before cancel culture. So they really didn't give a shit. So no, we can't do it because, your criminal record. Okay, can we at least try? Can you give it a shot? Maybe make a couple of calls? He just dismisses it right away. I'm the most popular athlete in the world right now. Tell them we can do it at a discounted rate. So when Nike says, hey, can we get you for 10 years, $3 million a year? I'll do it for $1 million a year. Anything. I'll do some speaking engagements. Anything, man. I mean, we are in motherfucking crisis mode right now. I need some money. But no, they just say, fuck it. Like, it's a movie, man. I get it. So, whatever. If you need to get us to that point so you can tell a story, all right, cool. But it goes beyond my suspension of disbelief. All that work he's done, those 4 movies, and everything he's been preaching about. I know it's not just money, but it's about getting out the neighborhood, making yourself somebody. And he loses it all over this shit, whatever all this is. Jesus Christ, I can't get over that. I can't move on. I'm stuck. I'm in a crisis mode myself. St. John Smythe, having a bit of a crisis. The only thing is, I'll be okay. Rocky won't. Rocco fighting's the ticket. He's retiring. And Paulie and Adrian start fighting. I thought I was doing smart business. What do you mean you think you were doing smart business? Some guy said, hey, can you hand this paper to Rocky? And you did it. That's not doing anything. You just handed someone something. I mean, can we at least look at all of our options right now? A few easy fights, commercials, a spokesperson, steal some money, rob a bank? Is Gazzo still around? Nah, I'd say we just give up. What? And instead, they go to the doctor's office. And he apparently has irreversible brain damage. So Rocky retires. Simply put, you've suffered some damage to the brain and is what we refer to as mentally retarded. And Adrian's like, oh, I diagnosed that long ago, doctor. You don't need to tell me. You know, by the way, I have a little bit of medical education myself. I worked in a pet shop for a while. He can't get licensed in any state, doctor. That is correct. At least not until 2006. And Rocky says, what? And Adrian's like, I don't care about the money. It's just you. And Rocky should have said, yeah, okay. What about our child? Do we care about him? Because we had a pretty shitty childhood, you and I. And it really fucked us up, like, forever. So maybe we should be willing to do what we have to do to kind of make him not grow up like that? Just a thought. Hey, I'm just spitballing here. So we cut to this estate auction at Rocky's house where they're selling all his stuff, and it's just horribly depressing. It's awful. The bike's gone, like his gloves from his Apollo fight. It's just horrible. And then they're like in the attic of the old house. He picks out his old clothes that he used to wear, like when he was a bum. And they start reminiscing about like when they first met. It's just, and the glasses, he puts them on. Like, it's the most depressing fucking thing. And he's like, I'm going to go out. Where are you going? I thought I'd go to Andy's. You mean that shitty bar you used to go to every day for 10 years? I don't think we have money in the budget for beer and pinball. I hate this movie. It's just horrible. This is so depressing. And we're just getting started with the depressing shit. It's terrible. Jesus Christ. And he gets out of that bar. There was a deleted scene apparently of him getting drunk in that bar. If you haven't seen it, don't watch it because it's so... He's the laughingstock of this bar. And everyone's just like staring at him like, what a piece of shit. Like a week ago, he was the most beloved American in the country. And now he's like falling all over the bar and making a fool out of himself. And people are laughing at him. It's terrible. I'm glad they got rid of it. And he goes to Mighty Mick's gym, which is also just so depressed. I have to get under a blanket. I have to hide under the bed when I'm watching it. And Mickey's saying all this heartfelt shit. Gives him Marciano's boxing glove cufflink. Tells him how much he loves him. Pretty much just lifts Customato's interview about Tyson. Years later, I saw a Tyson documentary, and Customato was talking about Tyson. And I was like, this is just Mickey's speech in Rocky V. Stallone just took this thing? Because it was like the sweetest speech ever. And apparently that's Customato's talking about Tyson. So, you know. I know it was like debated, like which Apollo fight was this that Mickey and Rocky were training for. The answer is, who gives a shit? Okay? I'm like suicidal right now. The last thing I'm thinking of is which Apollo fight was this? We don't need to be worrying about this, guys. Doesn't matter, is the answer. Doesn't matter. And we cut to the next scene. We got Take It Back. You know, that stupid rap song. I'll tell you, all I hear from that song is royalty checks being cashed by Frank Stallone. Huh? That's all. That's my favorite part of the movie so far. Is keeping Frank in furs where he belongs. So they move back into Paulie's old house. I can barely watch this. It's just so horrible. And George Washington Duke calls them. Mrs. Balboa, can you hear it? Listen closely. You must be able to hear it. What's it going to take for you people to start living like human beings again? So, yeah, Duke's still trying to get Rocky to fight and all that shit. We get more rap. And Rocky is smoking all of a sudden. And wearing those stupid clothes and just hanging around street corners. And he's walking his kid to school. And they're talking about like scams and deceptions. I don't even know what he's talking about. They pass by the Atomic Hoagie shop. Basically just warning him about like kids in public schools. It's a tough school, but you can handle it, don't you think? This is so I keep saying how bad everything is, but like he's used to like this nice private school with all his friends, and now he's going to like this fucking rough place. And it's a kid, man. Like he didn't do anything wrong, and now Rocky's like, you can handle it, right? It's like, oh my god, I want to give the kid a hug. I'm like, Jesus Christ, he's gotta walk. He's gotta walk. The door to the school is that busted chain link fence in the playground. Oh my god. He must be thinking, what the fuck happened? Last week I was wearing a uniform last week. Tucked in shirt. You know, I was looking up girls' skirts, getting hand jobs from Madame DuPont. I don't think there are any beauties working here, I must say. I took a look at the yearbook. I didn't see anybody I liked. Ugh. Money in the ear. How'd you get the cash, Rock, to put money in his ear? Did you sell that dog collar that was around your wrist? And he does the thing, and you know, Rocky's Jr.'s like, hey, cut the shit, Dad. I'm fucking depressed. I'm about to get my ass whipped over here because of you. Daddy, I love you. You're number one. Jesus Christ. Do you want me to get killed? And Rocky's like trying to act like he's not worried so he won't worry his son. You know, he doesn't scare him. But it's just horrible, man. And this kind of shit is what makes like the whole commercial and spokesperson thing so horrible. If you don't want to do it, okay, but like look at what your son has to do now. I mean, you've just thrown him into a brutal environment, and he's going to have a tough life from here on out. Sorry, that's just what money does. And growing up around, like in a shitty neighborhood, around criminals, like getting beat up, hanging out with trash, which is what happens. I mean, he's going to get yo-yo friends if you're not careful. And for what? Like, go do the commercial. Go do what you need to do, man. Go do like a celebrity wrestling thing. Swallow your pride. You need a paycheck, man. I'm sorry. This is bullshit. I'm not letting this go. So anyway, we got to the gym. So I guess Rocky's going to run Mickey's gym now. And Tommy Gunn introduces himself. And George Washington Duke interrupts him, trying to get him to fight. Butts in the buckets, asses in the seats. And says he can get him licensed anywhere. And Adrian interrupts. Adrian, you ain't working across the street, are you? Excuse me, what the hell are you two people talking about? I do love that line. And Adrian gives some heartfelt speech, and when George Washington Duke starts clapping at it sarcastically, it really makes me chuckle. So she's working in the motherfucking pet shop again. You work in the pet shop? I gotta do it, but you ain't gotta do it. Y'all actually both don't have to do it. If we're being honest here. And they get George Washington Duke gets back in the limo, yelling at Union Cane and all that. Don't aggravate the hand that feeds you. And we got to school, and what do you know? Rocky Jr.'s getting his ass whipped. Gets his coat stolen by these fucking two little shits. Oh, they were very cold. They've never been that cold. You know how cold it gets in Philadelphia in the winter. I promise they weren't stealing his coat just to do it, just cuz. And we cut to the gym, and Tommy Gunn's there again. And he says, hey, I want a shot at, I want to show you what I got. And he gets into the ring and just destroys that sparring partner. Fucking psycho. Does he know what sparring is? And Rocky's like, dude, you almost killed this person. He wants Rocky to manage him. He's like, no, dude, fuck off. You almost killed that dude. You're a psycho. And Rocky Jr. meets a girl, and I want to puke. I've been living here 6 years. It ain't Disneyland. You been to Disneyland? Well, yeah, we rented it out for like the entire weekend. Haven't you? Sorry, I forgot to tell you. I used to be, up until about a week ago, I was so wealthy that it would make you cry. It would make your parents ashamed how wealthy we were. Hey, you know, for an Italian kid, you ain't got a bad butt. Ugh. You know those Italians with their bad asses. You know that old cliche, that stereotype about Italians. So outside the gym, that night, I guess Tommy's just sitting under a bridge, which I can't recommend that. And I'm not saying that's where he got HIV, but that's the first place I'd look. If you want to try to find the source of where Tommy Morrison got it, you look under that bridge first. That's just me. Sorry that it happened, but maybe we have at least something to go on now. And Tommy's asking him again to just manage him, and this inspirational speech about how great Rocky is and how he should manage him and just teach me and give me a chance, blah, blah, blah. Look, Rock, you don't know me. but you're going to hate me, but you don't know me. And Rocky's like, this isn't going to end in me having to whip your ass, is it? So he invites Tommy over for dinner. And they're having dinner, and he's like, why'd this kid smack your face? Because I go to a shitty school with bad kids. That's what those people do. They just assault each other and steal shit for no reason. I don't know what else to tell you, Pops. This is what happens. This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass. And Junior's talking about wanting to learn how to fight. Paulie's like, baseball bat would be nice. Worked for me in the past, right, Rock? Remember when I took a baseball bat drunkenly to you and my sister? That was funny, right? I was in this house. So Tommy inappropriately starts telling this story about his dad drinking so much and hitting him and his mom, tied him down and beat him so bad he couldn't walk for a week. The first person he ever knocked out, and he always pictures him in the ring. It's like, Jesus, man. I think you need to go talk to somebody, and not the Balboas. Go talk to someone who knows something. And leave our house, please. You're scaring the children. So then Rocky's like, why don't you just stay in our house tonight? You can stay in the basement. And the only time I'll agree with Rocky Jr., and he's like, but that's my room. He's like, well, you sleep with your Uncle Paulie. He's like, Jesus, Dad, aren't the living quarters shitty enough? Now I gotta go sleep with Uncle Paulie, who either pisses the bed, shits the bed, or jerks off all night, or has night terrors. I don't know what the sleeping arrangements are for Paulie, but it's not good. It's not pretty. It's not just, well, off to bed. Let's watch Johnny Carson for a couple minutes and then just doze off. No, it's a violent sleep. There's some danger in those sleeps. And just add that to the shit stack that Rocky Jr. is having to deal with. So they go down to the basement, and Rocky Jr., Robert, decorated it like a big loser. I'm sorry. And Rocky starts showing Tommy some pointers. I don't know. Starts talking about Frankie Fear or whatever the hell it is. And he agrees to manage him. Starts ignoring his son as much as I'm trying to ignore his son. And Tommy says, you know what, Rock? I appreciate it, but if you don't mind, I think I'm going to go with a different fella as my money manager. And he's like, oh yeah, absolutely. Home team, Tommy. And Tommy's like, I don't know what that means. So we cut back to school, and Eric from Entourage robs him the next day, as little shitty kids tend to do, for his lunch money. And then Rocky and Tommy get like a blessing from Father Carmine. But priest is always home. And they have their first fight in that Jesus gym from Rocky 1. And Tommy's getting his ass kicked, and then Rocky gives him some stupid speech about I don't know what. And he knocks him out. And you know what? It's montage time, y'all. And we got go for it. You get the go for it rap. And it's a training montage, and Robert's training too. Tommy's winning a bunch of more fights. Adrian randomly just yelling like Rocky while they're running. I wish she stopped and just goes, what? I can't fight. I can't do commercials. I can run with this guy. I'm training so we can make money. I don't have any skills. I have no skill set. I was a boxer. I know a lot about that sport. I was a successful boxer. I could actually use that to make us some money, make us a living, pay our bills. But you're not letting me do that. So I'm going to train this guy, pass on this knowledge. That's the only skill I have. Unless you want me to go back to the docks, I can break bones. I can go sweep up fucking meat carcass from the ground at Paulie's old meat packing plant. But I'd prefer not to do that. I'm getting a little older. So what? What? And George Washington Duke starts noticing that this might be their hook. Tommy and Rocky and all that shit. So Robert goes to school, and stop me if you've heard this before. One of the kids wants to whip his ass. And Robert finally beats their ass. Go for it! What's with that? The whole go for it theme in this movie. The poster had go for it. The rap has go for it. What's with that? What's that all about? I don't like it. Change yourself for me. I do like when Robert and his girlfriend are walking. One of the little shit kids says, "Slumming again, bimbo." Well, that's just funny. Slumming again. She's like 11. And dude, he hits Eric from Entourage with like 12 direct shots to the face before he falls. So Guess he didn't learn how to throw that deadly a punch. And he goes to tell Rocky, and Rocky's like, oh my God, I don't care so much. And Robert's all butthurt about it. Meanwhile, Union Kane, he's the new champion. And we get more victories and training. And he's kind of starting to get a little Hollywood, as you would expect. And kind of resenting the whole, like, puppet talk and Rocky's boy and Rocky's puppet and all this stuff. He's starting to get a little pissed off about that. That clothesline punch he delivers to that black fella, I mean, that had to have done some permanent damage. I mean, y'all might want to check into him. Duke just screams after, ha! That was a shot. And then Duke just gives him a house, I guess. They haven't even signed any papers. Or was he just showing him around? What the hell was that? So, anyway, Union Kane's our new champion, and Duke's trying to kind of get in bed with Tommy. So, let's cut to the advertisements. Take a little break. Advertisements and listener questions. Advertisement for the week is J&M Fish. J&M Fish, folks. That's the pet shop from... Okay. J&M Fish, folks. You may recognize this from the hugely popular Rocky movies. J&M Fish and Pet Shop offers a variety of turtles, dogs, birds that look like candy, mountains that keep falling over, turtle food that you don't have to pay for, food that you can feed feed goddamn squirrels, and leashes for dogs or humans. If you don't mind a bra-burning pain-in-the-ass owner, or if you're not uncomfortable watching a mute 9-month pregnant coworker who cleans up cat shit and lifts heavy feed bags all day, boy, they really tell you a lot in this copy, come on over to J&M Fish. Catch an occasional joke from a half-retarded boxer that comes in a few times a week. Now hiring. So if you don't have a body and want to develop your brain and work at a pet shop, come to J&M today. No blacks. Oh, jeez. What? Okay. I wasn't expecting that last line. No blacks. Well, that's not very nice. I wasn't aware of that. But again, I've already cashed their check, but I'm not... Yeah, this is my pledge to you. They're not going to be advertising on this podcast much longer. Okay? I have a good mind to give them a call. I'm sorry about that. Okay, Bond and Rocky news. I just saw the Rocky vs. Drago documentary from Sly. It was like an hour long. Wonderful. I won't go too much into it now because I'll just ramble for an hour, but I did appreciate that he was talking about how much he regrets killing Apollo. He actually admitted that was a mistake. That was foolish. I didn't understand the long-term repercussions of it, which I can understand. He was just trying to make it a intense movie. But it was nice for me to hear because I've been saying that for a while. Like they just shouldn't have killed him, man. That was kind of a rough one. But that documentary was fantastic, and I highly recommend it. Bond news, not much right now. I think I got Living Daylights in the can right now. It got deleted, but I was able to save it somehow, so I got to re-edit it and all that bullshit. You know, I think Dalton had something to do with that, but I'll get that one out too, and I'm taking a little Bond break for now. I might finish up Rocky and then do a Bond or two. So, there's your Bond news, your Rocky news. I don't have any listener questions because I didn't ask for listener questions. I was not taking questions at this time. So, back to the movie. Christmas Eve. Ho, ho, ho. We're at the Balboa house, and with his just dipshit friends of Rocky Jr.'s. I don't know why I keep calling him Rocky Jr. His name's Robert. Doesn't he introduce himself as Robert? With Robert's horrible friends. He has that terrible freaking earring. And we also cut to Tommy. He's at Duke's party, which is just a fantastic party. Forget that Russian party. I want to be at this Christmas party. They're having a great time. They got turtlenecks on. They got Christmas music. They get hammered. Redheaded prostitutes. You know, that's just fun. That's how I want to celebrate the birth of Christ. And Duke's trying to convince him to sign. Tommy, I'm afraid. He's so full of shit. And they cut to the Balboas, and he was supposed to be here. Oh, I can't figure out why he wouldn't come to this house for this Christmas, quote, party. It's depressed Adrian, drunk Paulie, retard Rocky, and pouting Robert with his 2 or 3 terrible friends who I want to put in some sort of juvenile delinquent home. I'm sorry, but they need to go there and get some help. Paulie's Santa. And Rocky's yammering on. Yeah, Rantlers. He's talking a million miles a minute. Adrian's like, Rocky, have you taken your medicine today? Yo. You've got a weird family, don't I know? Well, where the fuck is your family? It's Christmas Eve. Why are you here? Go with your shitty family. If you don't like mine so much. Beat it. And Paulie, which another one of my favorite lines, he says, come on, chubby, get out of the way. To his fat friend. That's just, making fun of a kid for being fat. That is, you know what that is? That's good old-fashioned fun. And, needless to say, Robert's not really feeling Paulie as Santa Claus. Stretching the clothes, man. And they just start having it out right there. You ain't got no time for nobody, so I ain't got no time for you. He's talking street now. And Adrian and Paulie have been seeing the writing on the wall for months about what the hell's going on. I mean, Adrian couldn't have like some pillow talk with him at some point and point this out to him that like your relationship with your son is deteriorating. Your son is like not doing well right now, and you're neglecting him. She is the mother. This is a big parenting moment for them. She didn't want to mention it to him. Maybe mention that while you're going down that juicy Italian sausage. I'm not a parent, so I don't know. I don't know how it works, but I would imagine that'd be a good time to mention it. It's a two-person job. Mention it to your husband and father of the child. You're kind of fucking up right now. You need to get it in line. Did she say that loud? I never heard her say anything. I just saw her stare at him, disapprovingly. And Rocky's not the quickest guy in the world, so he needs a little more than that. He needs something a little more direct. So that's on Adrian. But I accept her apology. And Duke and Tommy and that whole crew come over. Nice tree. Charming. And that fucking terrible redhead. And Duke says Tommy's got something he wants to talk to you about. And leaves. And Tommy says, hey, Rock, I'm sorry I'm late. And the redhead cunt immediately starts saying, let's go. Let's go. Tommy, we're going to be late. Let's go. Like, bitch, do you not remember why we came here? This was the whole reason why we came. To talk to Rocky about, this is, you're out. Or I'm going with Duke. And, she bitches about leaving 8 times. How long does it take to get there? We're going to be late. Tommy, shut up. And Tommy got this new car, complaining that Rocky can't take him where he needs to be. And Duke can. And they have this big argument about this. You're going to get fucked, and I'm trying to protect you, and all this stuff, and trying to do what Mickey did for me, but I ain't you, and you ain't Mick. And he just storms off, and Rocky starts having these flashbacks, and Adrian helps him inside. Now, this is a good scene. The Tommy and Rocky scene in that car is very well done. It kind of spells out what he's been trying to do with Tommy. And then the Adrian and Rocky conversation is probably the best of the movie. All those fighters you beat with heart, it's got the Rocky music on. It's a very nice scene. I like it. See, it's not all bad. And Rocky's fed up with where they are. And he at least says, did I do all this shit just to end up back at the same place? So at least he's acknowledging what we're all thinking the whole time. And he was saying, he's been winning too. And it was just kind of his last chance to get his respect back. Which is these are all good things. These are all good ideas, good seeds for this movie. And Adrian's like, Tommy's not you, though. You're letting everything slip away. And he tells him, you're also losing your family. Your son is lost. You're fucking up, bro. Shame she couldn't have told him this earlier, but that's kind of how the conversation went. Very good scene. Both scenes are very good. So Rocky goes to find Robert. And they make up, they start kissing, they're smooching, they start touching, whatever they want, man. It's a free-for-all. And this scene is actually also pretty great, too. He's trying to, Sly is very good in it. He's trying to say he's sorry, but it's it's awkward, and Sly's great in it. It's a good scene, too. Say, that's back-to-back scenes if you're counting at home. Okay? And then Sly's, talking about scams and deceptions again for the 3rd time. Because he talked about it on that walk to school. They talked about it in the basement just a minute ago when they were fighting, and now they're talking about the scams and deceptions for the 3rd time, and all 3 times I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Maybe that's a reflection on me, but I don't know what it ever means, and I don't really care to find out. So I'm just gonna move on. I'm sure it's wonderful though. So we cut to Union Kane and Tommy Gunn fight, and Rocky's watching from the basement. That's all he could afford. Got one TV in the house. And the crowd's booing Tommy, and Tommy knocks him out in the first round, while Rocky's going nuts on the fucking heavy bag. And by the way, is that Leroy Neiman's voice I hear? Some of the other folks on this podcast network, which, by the way, last of the Action Heroes podcast network, I like to slip in the average, that little plug 75% into a podcast, just so you'll get the most ears. But Doug and Ryan and all those guys, I'm sure you could probably answer this. Do I hear Leroy Neiman's voice? The guy, y'all know who Leroy Neiman is. He was the announcer in the ring for the Apollo Drago fight, the first Clubber Rocky fight. If you really know your shit, he was painting Apollo training in Rocky 2. I think that's his voice in Rocky 5. I can't prove it, but I'll let y'all decide. So anyway, Tommy thanks the one person responsible, the angel in his corner, Mr. George Washington Duke. And Rocky's like, well, how's that supposed to make me feel? And everyone's chanting Rocky in case you didn't know that if he was still popular or not. And Robert, for some reason, draws him. It's okay, Dad, you're the real champ. And I think I see Rocky throw it in the trash a few seconds later. And he goes with Paulie to the bar. Think I should go out with your Uncle Paulie? Well, it depends, Dad. Do you want to go on a fucking rager tonight? Then yes, you should go with him. So we cut to the press conference after the fight with Tommy. The press is just hammering for, I don't know, just for being shitty, I guess. I don't know. And how much Union Kane sucks. And they keep comparing him to Rocky, and the Stu Nahan's even getting in on the fun. Where'd that come from? Why don't you fight the redhead? I heard she comes real cheap. I don't even know what that means, but I like how Stu Nahan's just, fuck it. I'll toss a couple jabs in myself. I like how Tommy has a Little Caesars hat on. That's his big sponsor. Now, does Rocky get any of that money? What was he getting, like 10% of all these fights as manager? What was Rocky getting paid for all this, by the way? I mean, these are some pretty big fights. I mean, he wasn't getting paid for this one, but all the other ones, I mean, they weren't fighting for peanuts. So they storm out of the press conference. Tommy's all pissed, yelling at everybody, and Duke kind of unveils his plan for him to go and fight Balboa. Oh, yeah, be the greatest fight ever. So he's got to, confront Rocky and all this stuff and get him in the ring, and that's going to be the big old lion versus young lion. So that's Tommy's plan. Brilliant. So they go to the bar, Andy's. And I don't know if y'all have ever noticed, it's always bugged me, they cuts that pinball machine. He's not even hitting the buttons. The ball's just slowly going down into the hole. Rocky's motor skills are just completely gone. That's a waste of a quarter. And Duke and Tommy's crew are outside. And when they yell at him from outside, and his two friends go, Rocky, you need some help? And no, guys, this ain't no pie eating contest. Well, that's not very nice. There's two fat guys, man. Well, fuck you, man. I'm just trying to help. There's like 5 guys out there. I don't know what they're after. They don't seem very happy with you. Just trying to help, man. But I'll just go fuck myself. Make a fat joke. It was funny with the kid. I'm an adult. And they challenge Rocky to a fight and start talking shit. And Rocky truly was like, what the fuck are y'all? He has no idea what the fuck they're talking about. He's like, what? Fight with me? I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, no, I'm cool, man. I'm hanging out with my shitty friends. So they go into the bar and says he was in it for the money. Oh, yeah, because I'm living a life of luxury here at Andy's bar, playing pinball with these assholes. Look at my clothes. You saw my house. So when Rocky says no in the bar, Paulie decides, I think I'm going to get involved here. I think I want to... I told you I was going to have a rager tonight. And by God, when a man makes a commitment, he honors that commitment. And Paulie just pushes the champion, says you're a goddamn joke. And then Tommy just fucking knocks him out. So that's talking shit to Apollo in Rocky 2 at the press conference when he says he doesn't sweat him. Tries to fight Rocky in Rocky 1 and Rocky 3. Fights Thunderlips. Tries to fight Apollo in Rocky 3. I don't sweat you. Knows better than to mix it up with Clubber and Drago. And then confronts Tommy. So, I mean, you gotta know your battles, Paulie. This is not someone you should be tangling with, Curly. So Rocky says, I don't know, let's fight. Whatever. You try knocking him down, or you try knocking me down. My ring's outside. So we go to the street. They're having a street fight, y'all. Let's get crazy. And Rocky just whips his ass. Lucky punch. Lucky punch. Which one? It was like 14 shots. And Tommy gets up and just starts hitting Rocky, and like the people in the crowd knocks Rocky down. Tommy just about has rabies at this point. He's screaming at Duke about owing him and respect. He's screaming at everybody. He's knocking out spectators and like camera people. Sucker punching a guy with brain damage. I mean, you gotta put this guy down, man. Give him a sedative. Genius move, by the way, by George Washington Duke to have a news crew come with him. That's just brilliant. He says, all right, we all are going to fight in the ring, but goddamn it, I'm getting paid for this. So Rocky gets knocked out, having flashbacks of Drago, then some inspirational flashbacks from like Mickey. Gets up and wants to keep going. Hey, one more round. You lose, you're finished. And Tommy's like, I'm not just going to knock you out this time. I'm going to put you to the street. And Rocky says, well, that's a weird thing to say. Do you want to kill me? So Rocky starts doing well again. I like that funny tripping thing that Rocky does for some reason. That always kind of made me chuckle. Knocks him down again, another sucker punch. They start going back and forth, and they start cutting to Adrian and Robert and Duke yelling, knock him out, Dad. He took my room. Jab, jab. Go for it. Shut up. I wish one of the people in the crowd just would have covered his mouth. Shh, 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 shh. Quiet, 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 quiet. Shh. You have to stop now. You have to stop talking. It's too much. It's simply too much. And Rocky starts waxing that ass and uppercuts him against that bus. And the bus driver, the lights are on. The bus driver's like, can you two derelicts please get out of the way? I'm trying to complete my route. I'm working here. I'm on city time. I don't know what y'all are doing, but please clear the way. God damn. And he just punches Duke in the gut. Sue me for what? It's assault. I'm an innocent person. Like, I will actually sue you. So, there's that. And the cops, I don't know, like they arrest Tommy for whatever reason. Those are the rules of street fights, son. If you lose, you get arrested. If you win, you get to assault an innocent man, get blessed by a priest, walk away unscathed with people chanting your name. That's the ABCs of street fighting. That's street fighting 101. Why is Father Carmine even there? He's like blessing the sacrament at the church. And, hey, Father Carmine, there's a street going on. Oh, street fight? Hell yeah. Saturday night. I got nothing going on. Now, granted, Tommy did assault a few dozen people there. So, and like I said, might have had rabies. They might have been animal control, those cops. He was foaming at the mouth. That might have been what that was. They probably put him like in a weird truck. Put one of those like things around his neck with like the pole so he'd stay away. It's like for like rabid dogs. That's what they did with Tommy. So there you have it. Rocky theme, blah, blah, blah. And we cut to Rocky and Robert running up the steps. Gives him the cufflink, of the Rocky Marciano cufflink. Yeah, you look like the daughter I always wanted. Trans jokes. They're fun. It was a fun time. And they go to the museum and in credits. And then we cut to flashbacks from all the movies with Measure of a Man by Elton John, which is just like the dagger twisted of the depression of this movie. It's so horrible and sad. I'm like, oh, remember the good movies? Remember the good times? Like, I think the worst ones really were Rocky 3, watching that. Like when he was just doing well and like Mickey was here. And Rocky 3 I always think of like it's the prime of his life. He was just doing great. It's just a brutal end credits. And it sticks with me for like weeks. I hate it. So, there's Rocky 5. It did okay at the box office. Not great. Didn't do well with the critics. Fans don't like it either, including this fan. And pretty widely accepted as, the weakest entry in the series. Stallone has even kind of hinted at some regrets he had with it and kind of dismissed it. And he was kind of finally given a shot to end it maybe the way he wanted to for 16 years later with Rocky Balboa. So, Rocky 5. The people coming back were good still, like Stallone and Paulie and Adrian and all them. I liked George Washington Duke. Rocky Jr., like Robert, I don't like kids in movies. They're just annoying. And he just played too big a role, and he just kind of got on my nerves. And Tommy Morrison, God bless the guy, he's just not an actor, man. Stallone's been talking about that since Rocky 1, trying to hire a real boxer. Because you can't fake that great footwork they have and all this stuff. Well, okay, but like to the layperson like me, I can't tell. he said like Clubber Lang was probably the worst, quote, fighter, as an actor. Like he had the worst footwork and all that. Well, he's my favorite Rocky villain. I loved Clubber. I don't care if he looks like your great boxer, but he always wanted to like hire a boxer because they look good in the ring. Dude, you don't need it. And now that you did it, what do you have? You have Tommy Morrison, who's not a good actor, and you finally get a boxer to play a fighter who actually needs to act in the movie. Like, Clubber and Drago didn't really need to act, but you still got an actor. Apollo didn't need to do much in Rocky 1 and 2. He had to do stuff in 3 and 4. But, like, so this is the time you finally do the boxer when he actually has to, like, do some acting. He has a character arc. It doesn't work, man. They're not good. The music was bad. The whole hip-hop thing, maybe they were just trying to, it's early 90s, late 80s. I don't know. The fight, dude, we want to see Rocky in the ring is kind of what it all comes down to. And at this point, like, we believe that Rocky can still whip his ass. I mean, Rocky 4 was not that long ago, that fight. So as fans, we're like, dude, he'd kick his ass in the ring, and that's all we want to see. Come on, man, get in the ring. And this street fight is just a bummer, and that's kind of what this movie all comes down to. It's a bummer. And they're preaching this thing of Rocky 1 about not being another bum in the neighborhood and being somebody and working hard and never giving up and all this shit. And he did it, and look where he is in Rocky 3 and 4. Like, he's at the top of the mountain. And then he just loses everything, and then goes back to the old neighborhood, and now his kid has to grow up like that, and he's back to, like, dressing in those raggy clothes and going to the same bar and that same shitty house. It's just depressing. Like, what was all that for? And he's also, like, sick, like he has brain trauma. And by the end of the movie, I'm like, we still assume that he's not well, and I don't know what that means for the future. Is he going to have, like, dementia soon? I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen to him. He's still sick. That hasn't changed. The doctors say irreversible. Like, this is the only movie that I think kind of sucks and also makes me sad, like, for days later. I'll be walking around, St. John Smythe, on the street, hanging out, talking to my people. And I'm down in the dumps. I'm like, St. John Smythe, what's the matter, man? Why are you so blue? And I was saying, well, I don't really know, actually. I think for a while, and I said, you know what it is? That's that fucking Rocky 5 I watched last week. It's that Elton John flashback. I'm still bummed about it. This movie, like, sticks with me for days, and I hate it. It's like I wish there are good seeds here, though, man. Like, bringing him back to his roots. The father, there's something there with the father and son. He had it. And there is definitely something there with Tommy and Rocky, that whole, he wants to be the same as Rocky and Mickey, but there is no other Rocky and Mickey. It was a special thing that only happens once in a lifetime. Those are all good things. But he just missed the mark, man. I think it's, having him lose everything he worked for is just shitty. And he suffers the biggest tragedy of all, poverty. It's like I wish we could take the good things from Rocky 5 and the good things from Rocky Balboa and kind of mix them. Like I wish Rocky Balboa would have taken place when Rocky 5 hit, some sort of mixture of those two movies, because there's a lot good about them. And fans, myself included, I've tried to convince myself, Rocky 5's not that bad. Any Rocky fans listening, you ever said that to yourself? You know what? Maybe it's not that bad. I'm gonna give it a view this time. I'm really gonna be open-minded. By God, I'm gonna like it this time. It's not good. I'm sorry. It gives me no pleasure saying that. I don't want to dislike this movie. I don't want to dislike any Rocky movie. But it ain't good. This guy's my favorite character of all time. More so than Bond, probably. It's okay. Some movies have to be bad. And this is one of those movies. You had it right. Our reaction the first time we saw it was correct. It ain't good. We want to see Rocky in the ring. We don't want to see him lose everything he has. And really, at the end, he's kind of still lost everything he has. I mean, where Rocky was at the beginning of the movie, he had a good family life and a bunch of money. And at the end of the movie, he has a good family life and no money. He went through some shit in this movie. I'll give you that. There was an arc. I mean, there was a beginning, middle, and end, but I just don't like it. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. And I know there's some fans, possibly on this podcast network, that are either fans or they've convinced themselves that they are fans. But I'm not sure if they're correct. You like how I do that? You like how I talk shit while you're not even here to defend yourself? That's how we do things here. Just some chicken shit, stuff like that. Anyway, sorry I'm not a fan. If you're a fan, drop me a line. Let's be in touch. Let's become pen pals. And we can argue through the mail. Be fun. You'll love it. Fun facts. I don't have that many fun facts. I talked about the deleted scene with him in the bar. There's also one of him running into Little Marie. And she's like a dirty old crack whore now. And Rocky says she should have listened to me. Which is just, that's just so great. That's pretty great. Union Kane was actually a real fighter in real life. And I think him and Tommy were supposed to have like a fight to kind of capitalize on the movie. But Union Kane got sick. I think he got AIDS. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's about it for the fun facts. All right, I don't have much. This wasn't a very fun experience watching it again. It's sad. I will say this is the first time I realized it was really the third act that was really not bad at all. Because the third act for me starts with Christmas Eve night. It's Rocky and Tommy's conversation, then Adrian and Rocky's conversation, then Rocky and Robert's conversation, and then it's the street fight, which the street fight at least is entertaining, and then it has a nice little ending or whatever. So, I don't know, I'll give you the third act. But the first two acts can go fuck themselves. Alright, so there's Rocky 5. Next time, I guess I'll either be doing Rocky Balboa or I'll put out The Living Daylights or... I don't know, guys. I'm not a mind reader. I can't even read my own mind. So we'll see you next time.
This is where you've always been. You had to lose so you could win. Rise above your troubles while you can. Now you can love, now you can lose, now you can choose. That's the measure of a man.